How's it going, New World? Sephir here, and today we are back with a bit of an update from the developers of New World. And this time the topic is PvP, and I'm really interested in this one because it's been a while since we've heard something about PvP, right? So let's dive into this and kind of see what this post has to say. So this is from Zen Ramu, who is a developer at New World, and he says, hello adventurers and conquerors. Today I wanted to provide an update on the health, status, and vision of PvP, war, and the territory control metagame. Before we dive in, he wants to apologize for all the issues they've seen in war so far, and thank you for the patience and understanding as they work to resolve them. They know there've been some serious lag issues in the war and a number of exploits that have kind of marred that experience, and they made an initial set of changes to address the issues and are working on some higher impact changes that need more testing, and they say that it's a top priority for the team to get the war stable, permanent state where the skill and coordination of the best team determines the outcome. So that is great news. I would love to see this happening because currently, as it stands, wars are not very competitive just due to the bugs and the shenanigans that's going on right now, right? So it would be great to see a stable and fair matchup where competitors could really compete with their skill. So lastly, so they go ahead and say here, let's start by reiterating our high-level vision. They want to create a game where PvE and PvP not only coexist, but support each other. And they want wars, not ganks, meaning they want to support meaningful PvP and war and the open world conflict between the three factions. So I think that's a good balance. Nobody wants to get ganked by like 50 people and just one person. So like giving people a reason to PvP for something and in the right area would mean that players could go about doing their business other places without having to worry about griefers all over the place, right? Because griefing happens when people get bored. So we'll go into the next section. They're going to talk about, looks like open world PvP, war, and then territory war. So we got three categories here. Open world PvP is going to be as follows. It says they feel that open world PvP is in an okay position but has room to improve. The rewards for flagging while leveling are good. The XP bonus makes a difference, and the rewards for PvP kills are meaningful. At the end game, however, the rewards for flagging are not good, and there are two changes in the short term coming up that should help. The first is that they're going to increase the luck of players flagged. This is a nice suggestion, and it came from the forums. I know a lot of people on Reddit were talking about this as a good idea. The question is, how much luck? That's what we need to know. They say this should be an important and lasting benefit to flagging. Second, we are going to reduce the durability damage of gear when flagged. This will reduce the risk of flagging a bit, especially in the end game when gear repair costs are really high. In the medium term, they will also adjust the rewards for the PvP kills at level 60 so that they can enhance players' high watermark score more. Check out our post on the high watermark system. This is the one we covered in a previous video before, so if you want to check that one out, you can kind of go back to that one and look there. It says longer term, they expect a new open world PvP activity that flag players can participate in, and we hope it spurs rewards some smaller scale engagements across Eternum. Okay, this is nice. That's cool. A new open world activity, and it's going to have small scale engagements. So is this an arena? Is this like a place where you can go and only so many people can get in, and then you could fight for it? Is a fort thing? Let's figure that out, hopefully. But I'm excited for that. That sounds really good. In addition to rewards, we understand that there are some gameplay issues with the open world PvP. Currently, it's hard to know whether players in your faction are flagged or not. That can make it difficult to know whether or not you have backup and assess whether you should engage somebody. We're aware of the issue and they're working on a fix, and they also understand that combat tactics can be quite difficult since the visual for all area spell effects are the same, so it's difficult to know whether your spell is from an ally or an enemy. And yeah, that is true. If you've ever been into a war, there's life circles all over. You don't know if it's yours, theirs. You're not sure if it's healing you or not. It's just crazy. So they say, unfortunately, it's not a trivial fix and it requires some significant code update and numerous asset changes. And while we agree this is an issue, it will take substantial work and investigation and will not be resolved soon. So they're working on it. It's just a little difficult. So that's some great changes for open world. Let's go ahead and dive into the war section of this. War says, as stated above, lag and exploits of war have hurt the experience. Yeah, that's very true. It's definitely hard to be competitive when people can one-shot you with a hatchet, or become invincible, or lag the entire zone to where they can just stand on top of the point while invincible, and there's nothing you can do. They just take the territory for free. There's just a lot of bad stuff there. So it says, with the patch coming out about this week, most major issues should be resolved. That's good to know, but I'll believe it when I see it. There have been some complaints about war happening too often. There's a 24-hour cooldown period for war within the war windows, and that means at most every 2 days a war can happen on a territory. Players can also delay that through the influence race, which is now much more viable since they fixed the escalating influence issue. Overall, we think war every 2 days is a good cadence, but please continue to let us know what you think. We are seeing war fatigue from factions which funnel a group of players into every war. While we love this cooperation, having one company or company's worth of players own multiple territories should be very hard, and it is not what we are balancing war cooldowns towards. I agree with that. I think that on a server, having more than one territory as a company should be dealt with. I mean, it's no fun to see one company owning the entire map or like all the good cities and then nobody else has anything, right? That's just terrible. So I like that balance and just making it to where war can constantly be declared on them. You can sort of exhaust their players over time, right? Because they're going to have to show up to every single war everywhere all the time, and it's going to be, a headache. So let's go ahead and take a look into that further. It says we're also continuing to review balance with the war. Defenders are winning more than attackers, which is what we want. Currently, defenders win around 80% of wars. We want to reward defending companies that build up their ranks and upgrade their forts, but we keep an eye on the balance and resolve the major exploits to make sure that both sides have a fighting chance. Yeah, that's a tough one because it's hard. Like, when you get a town, you really want to keep it. You want to feel like it's worth it and not lose it the next day. So if it was like a 50-50 skill matchup, I could see that being a little bit obnoxious over time, assuming there's a lot of equal skill guilds on the server or companies, because then, you would just have this constant state of turmoil. So like defender advantage slightly, but attackers can overcome and really outplay and make an impact. That's definitely nice. So we'll see what that number is. I don't know if it should be 80%. Maybe it should be 60 or 70, but maybe it'll be hard to like gravitate towards that, but we'll see what they have in store. We know that communication and coordination in war is not optimal at the moment. It's hard to know what role participants in the war have chosen, and that makes coordination difficult, so we will begin investigating ways to address the issue there, but they don't have anything planned for the near term. So it looks like there's a few changes coming, very nice with the war things. They're aware of issues, which is important, and they need to do something about it. That's the next step, right? So we'll see what actions they take to back up those words. Next, we will dive into territory control, and it says, overall, we are seeing territories change hands with decent regularity. As stated above, we want to favor the defender and seeing a good spread between factions on most servers. We do have 2 systems in place to help with faction balance. We allow players to switch factions, but don't allow them to switch to the dominant faction. We also increase the influence underdog factions earn for PvP missions to give them a better chance at earning the right to declare war, but they may need to do more. We are watching faction balance on all the servers, and if it becomes a general problem, we have a few ideas to help resolve it in interesting ways. Okay, that spooks me a little bit when you say interesting ways, but we'll see what they have in mind. It says they're also aware of the issue that some territories, looking at you Everfall, produce a ton of tax income, while other towns can be much harder to support and upgrade. There is a change coming soon which will help distribute a main tax income stream to every territory. Okay, so just owning the territory may generate you a set amount. That would be nice, actually. We want to review the impact of the change before we make further adjustments, but there are some changes that we could make in the medium term if this is sufficient or insufficient. Okay, I like that because before, I remember we took a territory in like Morningdale and we were just like, man, this thing's not worth upgrading. Like, no one comes here, no one does anything here. Like, even if we have a tier 5 station, it doesn't matter. They'd just rather do it in Everfall, right? Or Windsward, whatever that case may be. So that's a good change. I do like that. The last bit of good news is that all territory flippers out there's some new PvP mission types coming into the game soon. These changes serve 2 purposes, adding some much needed variety to the PvP missions and helping to distribute the PvP action locations to spread out some of the large PvP zergs we're seeing. Please let us know what you think about these changes when they go live soon. That's really interesting to see. Thanks for reading, and he says feel free to post any follow-up questions or concerns you may have and try to address. They'll try to address the top issues for now in a follow-up in a few days or weeks' time. So this is the place to go if you want to add to this, add your feedback, add your suggestions. I will put a link to this post in the description below so that you can check that out. And this is an official Amazon post on their official forums. So you can go ahead and dive into there, let them know what you think, and hopefully they will pick some of your questions and ideas out and talk about them more in their follow-up posts. So a lot of great stuff here. The 3 parts broken down. Open world PvP, I like to see the luck flagging. I like to see the high watermark rewards for killing players, but I'm a bit concerned about win trading. I know in classic WoW there was huge issues where people were just going off in a desert somewhere and trading off kills on each other and getting Grand Marshal ranks and all that shenanigans. So I don't want to see that again. You need to moderate that and police that, because just as we saw with a lot of the bug abuses for like multi-spawns and monsters, name monsters, and everything, people are gonna do it, right? They're gonna do it. So you need to make sure those people are punished appropriately, and that way we can ensure the competitive integrity of the open world system. But it is a step in the right direction, and reducing the repair costs on the gear when dying is a great idea, because nobody wants to have a massive 50-50 battle and come out broke after it just because of all the gears breaking. Both sides, right? Like everybody, like when you die it hurts for sure. The war changes are interesting. I do like to see that defender's advantage slightly. I would like to see more diversity of guilds within a server owning territories, because one person or one group having like 3 to 4 major territories, that's definitely not fun. So it needs to be hard for them to keep that up, both financially and like time-wise, wartime-wise. So you need to be able to keep assaulting them until they lose control of one of those situations. So I do like that one coming in there. It looks like they're working on the lag and some of the issues, so that's nice and important as well. And then lastly, the territory control changes coming in are very nice. I do like to see the steady tax coming to some of the less populated areas. That will definitely make them worth taking a lot more, and it may spread some people out to different towns besides just Everfall, right? So that's definitely some solid changes coming in. Let's see how the execution is handled coming up in the next couple of days. I'm guessing this patch could be coming out, I mean, tomorrow or next week, and anyone's guess really, but it's going to be pretty soon on some of this stuff here. But this is going to be massive updates to PvP. It is a step in the right direction. I'm interested in that small scale skirmish PvP thing that they said they're talking about, and it's definitely going to be a blast either way. But this is a good breath of fresh air coming into the game, a little ray of hope with all these bugs and issues coming around. So I do like this a lot. If you have enjoyed this content, make sure to check out the subscribe, like, and bell button below. We also have the join button if you're interested in becoming a member. You can get a badge, an emoji, and some special perks and benefits on the channel. We also have a Discord where you can chat with me and other like-minded members about New World. So make sure to check those things out, and thank you for your time and watching this video to the end. I appreciate that, and we will catch you in the next one.